So let's learn by doing some examples. First, I'm going to start by writing one of the more not well easy, but also like common introductory stuff. I'm going to write a function called isEven, which given a number, so I'm going to go ahead and call it num. Given a number is going to tell me whether or not it is even or not. So this seems like a perfect job for booleans, right? Because if it's even, I can just simply say true, and if it's not even, I can say false, right? So let's go ahead and actually define that. Returns true if num is an even num. Returns false otherwise, right? So the idea here with isEven, again, and the reason I'm doing true and false rather than in a string is that then I could use isEven in an if statement. I could use isEven inside an if statement or a while loop, which makes it very useful. Right? So here, let's go ahead and see this. So how do I tell if a number is even? Well, I can basically check to see if it's divisible by 0. So let's go ahead and see if it's divisible by 0. How do I do that? Sorry, not divisible by 0, it's divisible by 2. Got ahead of myself there, and I was talking before I was words are hard in 2020, okay? So, let's go ahead. Number, we can see if number mod 2 is equal to 0. If number mod 2 is equal to 0, what does that mean? So if number, when it's divided by 2, has a remainder of 0, well, that means it was evenly divided by 2. And only even numbers are evenly divisible by 2. So we can just simply return true. Otherwise, we can return false. So there is a pretty classic example. Let's go ahead and take a look at another one, right? Because maybe if and else statements are a bit tricky for you. But let's go ahead and look at add all nums. So this is going to replicate the sum function. So given a list of numbers, basically this will add all the values and return the total value. So total is equal to 0, right? What we're going to do, so basically if my input is something like this, if I give 5, -1, let's go with 5, -2, and 7 to make my math easy. This should give me 10 back, right? Because 5 plus -2 plus 7, -2 plus 7 is 5. 5 plus 5 is 10. So, right, this will return 10. Okay, if I were to give it back, if I were going to go ahead and give back. So often when I write an exam or when I write questions, I like to show you various inputs, outputs, and what you should expect. So 10, negative, let's go ahead and 10, 1, and 3. That would give me 14. And just so you don't think that I'm just doing 3 numbers, right? Let's go ahead and do 1, 1, 3, 1, 1, 1, 1. So that is 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So given a list of number gives me all the numbers in there. So that's what we do is we write an accumulator. So what we're going to do is we're going to write an accumulator, add all the numbers together in total, and we'll give total back to the user. So for loop, for num in list of nums, we aren't going to print anything. We're going to do total is equal to total plus num. And there we go. Right? Very simple thing. It's a very simple thing that we do a lot, but we can't. But now it's a very powerful tool now. So what's cool now is that we can kind of chain these together, right? We can say def is list even. So take in a list of numbers, right? Returns true if the sum of the list is even, right? So if the sum of all the numbers in the list is even, we'll return true. Otherwise, we'll return false. So what we can do is basically we can do if. So let's go ahead and say total is equal to add all numbers, list of numbers. So we call our function. No need to repeat anything that we've already done. Okay, and then we can say is list even if is list even is true. And for those of you who are wondering what I'm doing this, or who have a bit more programming experience and wondering why I'm being so verbose, give me a sec. So if the total is even and that's true, return true, else return false. So here we were able to combine a bunch of functions together to help it do its job, right? Which is actually a valuable tool. We can take a look at a very tough problem and see that there's these little discrete parts, and we can write those discrete little parts independently of one another. They're small, independent programs that you can kind of hook together. It's a really, really cool tool. So I also should mention I didn't do these as optimal or as short as I could. So for instance, there's nothing stopping me from, well, I'm wondering where to start here. So first off, since isListEven returns true or false, I don't need this because equal equals will resolve in a true or false. So if this is true, it will give me true. If this is false, it'll give me false. In fact, I can skip the if else statement entirely here and just simply say return isListEven total. Because if list is even, if that is true, oh wait, hold on a second, I did a wrong thing. I wrote the wrong function is inside here. Is even, if the total is even. I'm sure that that would have been really bad. Okay, so again, is even will return either true or false, which is fine. So I can actually eliminate this and simply say, hey, that true or false, rather than using that to decide whether to return true or false, because I know I want to return true if is even is true, I'll just return is even. And that will be false if it's false, which is great. Oh, and since total is this over here, I can just put this in here. And reduce it to a single line, which is pretty nice. Similarly over here, I can achieve some Boolean Zen just by taking out the if else statement and returning this true or false expression.